Well, you have it, yeah, that's right. And if you come up, I mean, the waiting room, I don't know, this is, the meeting code will let you know, yeah, so
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet.
perfect, thank you.
I was trying.
Quiet now?
Thank you, sir. Come on, Marshall. Hey, Dewey, how are you? Sorry about your brother. Thank you, sir. How you let's do it. Wally. Oh, okay. Like something, you know, Wally was looking for the doctor. He was going on his own. And
There's a lot of treatment on the internet, still talking about it actually, but, yeah.
He's a good guy. Where do you live? Yeah, I'm in North Carolina. Well, you still Charleston?
Well, you want to be Charleston, honey. Hayes Valley. Oh, that's nice, yeah, I went to Scott Depot. Yeah, he's fired. He's fired. Fired. Yeah, he is. There's really ticked off people down there too. Coach is kind of oh, he's a great.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You must ask for one.
I just wanted, it is, my grandma's in the nursing home, and we started late with her, so I'm just gonna turn it over.
Thank you,
Any thoughts, I'm gonna get some hot water right after that. Figure it out. Turn it over to you. When you're done, I'm gonna go ahead and, we have to talk more here.
We gotta have, we get up here, everybody here.
I think so. I think we're all here. We can kind of-
The other people, Joey and
We're gonna get
Tom,
off and have this.
they need to
I
start
just wanted
becoming
us to have a
busy
chance to
and
take maybe 20 minutes.
Are you
Are you gonna come and show us? That helps.
And I'll let you know.
Yeah, we have to take turns and take another week for our turn to come. Yeah, that's right. So you look fine.
This is Mr. He lives right across from you.
I'm gonna dump out our back.
So much you're coming, especially on notice in the short. I always, I just give you, I must walk back up there and tell you. Hi, guys. Brandy is being sent back. I just want to tell you, we're about to get started. So we're going to turn off Zoom, and we're just going to go through the YouTube channel now, so you can just listen. It should, you don't see it yet?
Yeah, and before we leave, since you're so close, if you could leave your phone number,
Yeah.
just in case.
Ron.
If you need to or something might need to know, it'd be amazing to know someone's
It
got
should be the live
every once in a while.
Because it's not showing up yet. The live feed. Just make sure you're in the right.
YouTube, we're gonna YouTube.
Just a minute, Brandy.
It's on the first thing. Are you? Let's go back. I've been in the garage. Go to Wally. Ladies and gentlemen, here in just a moment, we're going to be starting the services. I want to thank all of you for being here today, and just a quick reminder, if any of you have a cell phone or any sort of portable device, you might check to make sure that's either off or on vibrate. I also want to let everyone know that this service is streaming live on YouTube on our page, and probably by the end of the day today or tomorrow, we'll also be on our website at hastingsfuneralhub.com. So anybody who isn't able to be here that you would want to share that with, it'll be there for people to see. So again, thank you. We'll be starting momentarily.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Can't look at you because it makes me cry. But thank you so much for coming, and I just wanted to open up with the Lord's Prayer, something very simple and familiar, and it's in the little pamphlet that was out there in case it's not familiar to anybody. So let's just say that prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Funerals are often serious and somber, and I know there's going to be lots of that today. But I also hope that today there'll be smiling, some laughter, as we celebrate and remember the life of a man that we have all in this room loved dearly. And I just pray that in this time when we're tearful and our hearts are heavy, that we're also going to feel grateful for the time we had with Wally Shank Jr., my dad. As we go through the world, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses. And my dad's weaknesses were sometimes hard for me to understand. He struggled with relationships with people, and I suspect most people in here are aware of that. But my dad had some very, very good strengths. And some of his strong qualities included his ability to give insightful and wise advice. On many occasions, he gave me good advice about parenting, about my job, and just about life in general. He was a man that made sure his family was always provided for. He never shirked a responsibility. He was a man who knew responsibility, and he took care of what needed to be taken care of. He was a talented man. He knew how to play guitar. He played trumpet. He had black belts in martial arts, multiple martial arts, and multiple black belts. He could fix anything, electrical, plumbing, automobiles. It doesn't matter. Whatever it was, he could figure it out and he could fix it. He was a protective man. He was intensely protective of his territory and his family. He always made sure we were safe. And he was incredibly good at his job. He had many awards. He had many accommodations from his time in the military and his time with the U.S. Department of Justice. And he was dearly, dearly loved. I just want to pause at this time and let my brother Wally Shank III come up and just share a little bit of his heart with you, and then we'll go from there. Yes,
It's gonna be tough. Let me get a little water here. You know, it's no good if you can't, if you can't hear me, so. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by, trying to do a very Shank thing, and that's trying to stuff my emotions here for a few minutes. And if you're a Shank, you'll understand that. Everyone in this room, was a huge part, an important part of my father's life. And I want to thank you all so much for being here right now, especially on this short notice. And I know I'm still in shock. I think a lot of people are. This happened really fast and really unexpectedly. So thank you. I was sitting down last night, and I was trying to sum up my father's life. And and after a good while, I realized it wasn't possible. I just couldn't do it. And we don't have that kind of time. So I'm going to go with it from there. My father was a great man, all around, a great man and a great father. He lived his life with absolute purpose and conviction. And whatever he believed, he would stand up for it and do what he thought was right. I'm wearing this uniform today as a tribute to his service to this country as a sailor, as a public servant for over 30 years. He had amazing accomplishments in his life. Excuse me. Okay. So, many years ago, this should help bring my dad into focus. Many years ago, I'm in Texas. I got 4 little boys. It's summer, it's 4th of July weekend, and our air conditioner just died in the house. Couldn't get anybody out to fix it because it was on a Sunday, and no one was coming out on Sunday and Monday. So I had to wait till Tuesday. So I'm scurrying around Waco, Texas there, looking for anything I could find. Everything was sold out. I found one little tiny air conditioner. We all huddled around it for 2 days. It was like 100 degrees in the house. Got it all fixed, and at the end, as I usually do, when I go through something, difficult, I always call Dad. He told me how proud he was of how I handled things, kept the family safe. We continued to have a really nice conversation, and ended it with the I love yous and hope to see you soon. And then, 2 or 3 days later, a semi-truck pulls up to the house. I'm not kidding, a full 18-wheeler in my neighborhood. And this guy gets out and says he has a shipment for me. And, of course, it's a huge top-of-the-line generator, and a huge air conditioner that ran off of it that would probably cool my entire house. And he all did it just in case it ever happened. That's who my father was. A great man. I love you. I'll miss you. Thank you.
I wanted to just kind of take this minute to see if anyone else wanted to speak. If you do, pop your hand up.
I don't want to, but I'm going to.
So awesome. Come on, Marsh.
So I'm Marshall, I'm Wally's brother, also a Shank, who's going to try to keep it together. But I'm going off the cuff, so it may be a little disjointed. But to me, my brother was a very sweet man. He did things for everybody. He would share his knowledge, and he would share his time, his talents. But to me, he was my first friend. He was on the floor encouraging me to crawl. And throughout my life, he was my champion. And, as we grew up, he would try to keep me safe. But I have to say, sometimes he would put me in great peril. As we explored the woods and climbed the trees. Later, when we went to Cooper's Rocks and jumped the valleys. When we rode our motorcycles out 40, Interstate 40, we surely were just a blur to people. And I was just trying to keep up. But he always was there to give you good advice, as you all know. He was a very determined and straight thinker. When I was struggling with a concept, he could put a spin on it that you could follow, and he helped me through so many things. He was my champion, and I'll miss him. And but every day, just like our father before me, he will speak to me. He will never leave. His voice is in me, and it will be in you, I promise. So anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Marsh. Are there others? Please come up. Mark, Paul?
Yeah, I'm Paul. I'm Wally's youngest brother. It was hard growing up behind these two. There were always big shoes to fill. I've got a lifetime's worth of stories I can tell. I've had the chance to share a few of them over the last few days. Today I can't do any more of that. But I have to say that Wally was my brother, my counselor, my teacher, and my friend. And I'll miss him greatly until we meet again.
Thank you, Mark.
I'm Jim Marsh. Wally was a buddy of mine, 25 years or more. I was really shocked when I found out, that he passed away. I've been thinking about it. I've known him for 25 years. I can't think I ever saw him when he wasn't smiling. I don't believe there's ever a time in my life that I saw Wally without a smile on his face. And if that's socially inept, fine. I love Wally, the way he was. Now, he was different, but he was different in a good way. If the world was full of Wallies, the world would be a pretty good place. Now, as far as the way he was, I have woke up laughing for the last 3 days. just thinking about it. That's tough. That is tough. I used to own the Blue Moose. I went in there one morning, and Wally had this, coveralls, leather coveralls from Germany with sheep lining. And he shows, and he had gotten himself a pair, which I never saw Wally on a motorcycle. I don't know if he rode a motorcycle for the last 30 years. I don't know that. But, he saw, since he got himself one, at that time, a motorcycle was my mode of transportation. He thought I needed one. He gave it to me. Who the hell, who would do something like that? Wally. Wally never bought one or nothing. Wally had backups for his backups. And then he got serious and got backups. For the backups. I just love that man. I'm sorry he's gone. But if there is an afterlife, I gotta believe Wally's in good shape.
Yes.
And if there ain't an afterlife, he had a great life. And that's all you can hope for, you know? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, Eldon.
My name is Eldon Leonard. I've known Wally since 1975. Wally moved into the house that my parents lived in, that I lived in at the time, and we became friends immediately. We hung out together. We listened to his stereo upstairs. We just had a wonderful time together. He was a real mentor to me. He showed me how to raise a family, how to treat people, how to live, how to be a man, how to act like a man. And quick story, we used to run together. He showed me how to box, what Jim March had taught him. Well, I'd come out to the garage and I'd go up to the house and he'd show me what he learned, and he taught me a lot there. But we used to go running, and we used to go up to Cooper's Rocks. We went up to Cooper's Rocks and it was cold. It was snow, and it was snow all over the ground, and it was icy, and we were going along out towards the rocks. He was leading, he was in front, I was following him. We went through the rocks, and there was a snow-covered patch that was all flat. It was flat, and he walked out onto it, and his feet went out from underneath of him, and he was down hard on his back, and he didn't move. And I thought, oh my God. I'm going to have to carry Wally out. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? He laid there for just a little, maybe 15 seconds. Seemed like an eternity. And I said, he didn't move. He said, just give me a second. Give me a minute. And within a minute, he was up. He was moving, and we were running. He never stopped. He just kept going. He was tough. He was tough. So many good memories. He mentored me in so many ways, and I know. Been thinking about it all week long since I found out, and this is Flint, and I know what Wally in church is about resurrection. Christ was resurrected. Wally's resurrected. He was in pain. I think he was towards the end. I regret another quick thing. Wally and I were friends, real close friends, and they're kind of separated. Life took us different ways. And we just didn't see each other. Well, he started coming down to the garage again. We became best friends again, just like we never let up. It was years, probably, I don't know how many years in between the times we were close friends and we didn't associate it, and we did again. We just picked up where we left off. We said that. We just like nothing happened. It was yesterday. And then we stopped hanging out together for a good many years. And now I look back, I think, man, I wish I'd have been Wally and gone down to the garage. I wish I'd have been him and come up to his house and seen him more. And I can take from that, and I got to be like Wally. I got to be like Wally. I love him with all my heart. I know he's in heaven. He went right straight to heaven. I love him. I know we all do. I'm grateful he was my friend.
Thank you so much, Elton.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Hope I can get through this one. My name is Guy Pandrell, and I've known Wally since probably 1964. I met him at Morgantown High School. He went to the Navy, I went to the Army. I didn't get to see him again until probably, I guess, the middle 80s, maybe, is when he moved up into the neighborhood. And I'd seen, on occasion, coming by, and then at one point, I started stopping by every evening on my way home from work and sit on the porch and drink beer and talk about how Morgantown was operating. And we had always good conversations. And then I came by one night. He said, "Hey, I ordered something for us." I said, "What'd you get, Wally?" It comes out with 2 bulletproof vests. He said, "These are the good ones." He said, "A knife won't even go through them." So then he brings me out a pair of police gloves with the lead knuckles in it. He said, "You might need those." He said, you got arthritis in your hands." But we had an unfortunate situation. Our house caught on fire, so we had to move to a motel for a while. And as I was driving by, going back to the house working, he stopped me one day. He said, "Hey, I have something for you." And he bought me one of those grills that you open up and got 2 sides to cook on. He said, "You guys gonna need this in the hotel." He said, "You can't go out and eat all the time." He said, "I know you want to eat, in there sometime." But I really have been close to Wally for the last probably 15 years. I ran for city council, and he said, "Bring this banner down and put it on it must have been 6 feet long. And he put it right on his front rail where everybody could see when they come by." So, this past week or two, or week has been going by, and I'm looking to see him come out. Anyway, that's what I got to say about Wally.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you so much, Guy. Thank you. Anybody else?
I want to speak for my mother.
Yes, Marshall, please.
She's over there. I don't know if she can hear me.
She cannot hear you right now, but
Okay.
she might
She will.
later. That's
So just pretend that I'm my mother for a minute. Wally was a good son. He was very loving. And for me, he was my guardian. When my husband, Wally Sr., passed away, Wally picked it up and he came to the house. He did my maintenance. He changed my air filters. He changed my water filters. He dug a hole beside the corner of the house and fixed my foundation. And as I got a little older and had a little more trouble getting out, he did my grocery shopping every day or every week. Every day. He would call me at 8:30 in the morning to touch, say hello, I'm here, you're here. And then we would do it again at 4:30. Every day. If I needed something, he would, well, yeah, I'll be that way, and I'll bring it to you. And that's whether it was a prescription or a Mounds bar. Whatever it was I needed, he would bring it to me. He was a loving son and a good person. He loved his family, he loved his friends, and he took care of me, his mother. Thank you.
Very good, Marsh.
Thanks, Guy. These stories absolutely highlight my dad. Every one of them showed his caring, protective, providing nature. If he thought you needed something, he was there for you. I have a Cooper's Rock story with my dad too. I think my dad probably knows every crack and crevice in this entire town, within what, a 60-mile radius. He took my brother and I up to Cooper's Rock one year. We were teenagers. We were up visiting for the summer. And he took us into a cave. First time ever I've been in a cave. He goes, let's go in the cave. And I got in there, and it wasn't a cave like you think of, a big open cave you're walking through. It was a crevice between a couple of rocks that we were sliding sideways through. Then he said it got kind of tricky as we went ahead. So I got in between all those rocks and nearly had a panic attack and I slipped my way right back out. I said, I can't do that. He and my brother kept going, and I marched my way up to the top, with the outlook there, and yeah, they eventually came out from somewhere, I don't know where, and they popped up on the outlook. He was an adventurer, there's no doubt. He gave me advice that I've passed on to other people through the years when they struggled with the same thing I had been struggling with. When I called my dad, I passed that advice on to them, and it helps them too. And I'm so pleased that a couple of years ago I told him that, and he was glad to have heard that his advice had helped somebody. And I just wanted to end this section with one more memory. My father was always strong in front of me. He never showed weakness, ever. But twice in my life, I got to see tears in my dad's eyes. And one of them was when he was telling me about the worst day of his life. Actually, it was, in his words, it was the worst damn day of his life. Another time I saw those tears was when he was telling me about the best thing that happened in his life. And so in the spirit of the celebration, I'm not going to tell you about the worst day of his life, but I do want to tell you about the best day. He said it was the day that God had forgiven him for all of his wrongs. He had come to see himself as a person who had not always done what was right. And when he spoke to me, his eyes were just stinging and red and wet with tears. And he used his thumbs and pointed at himself, and he said, I quote, he goes, I had to realize I'm the sinner. I'm the one that needs God's forgiveness. And I know that my dad was and is dearly loved by God. And because of that day that he shared with me, I also know that my dad dearly loved the Lord Jesus as well. And so I grieve, but I grieve as a person with hope that I will see my father again. I believe he is in heaven, and I want to join him there one day. I prepared a song that I know my dad would have approved of. It's called Amazing Grace. I printed it out because I know not everyone knows all these verses. They're going to play it. Don't make me sing by myself up here. I am not a singer. I don't have a singing voice. I'm a step away from the microphone. But if we could sing that just to close out and just honor my dad and his faith, and And then Hastings told us that we could stay and mingle and hug. I'm not just singing. Extra voice, sorry. That last verse is what gives me hope. When we have been there 10,000 years, there won't be no less days to sing God's praise. Amen.
Hi there, Alan. Different day. I'm very proud of you.
Do what?
We're all doing great.
Look at that, and now,